What's up, everybody? This is SidelineRewind coming at you with episode number 19. This episode is going to will be called Together Again. That song was released by Miss Janet Jackson in 1997 off the Velvet Rope album. And let me just say, that is one of my favorite albums by Miss Janet Jackson.
Everything by Janet Jackson is amazing too, by the way.
Bring it.
Yes.
So we are so excited to be with you. I'm excited because we're not in our usual place. We're in St. Louis, Missouri.
It is our first guest interview where we actually got to travel and spend time with our guest, and we're so excited about it. There's only one negative is that our co-host Janine is not here for the weekend. She's not even going to be on remote, and we miss her very much, but we're so excited to be here.
Yes, J9 she's here with us in spirit. So,
exactly.
Hey, we love it. J9, you're here with us. We know it, and let's rock. Let's go.
And also, can we just say that we just saw Janet Jackson, remember? We just saw her in concert last year, remember? When she was in Nashville.
Janet.
And
oh my gosh!
we got to meet her. Yes, how could you forget that? We got to meet her.
Yeah. This is a random story, but
totally random.
I am in the Uber Lyft going to the concert, and I get a text message from Anita saying, I don't know what you said. Where are you?
Yeah.
But she didn't know I was coming to the concert. I was like, I'm on my way to the Janet Jackson concert, and she goes, oh my God, we're there. She and Janine and Carla were already there, and I was like, oh my gosh.
That was so fun. And we literally got to go backstage, or actually down in the green room, and meet her afterwards, and it was so cool. Because one of Janine's dance companies, one of the guys that she worked with was one of her backup dancers for a while. And so
awesome.
We got to go down and meet her, and it was so cool.
I forgot all about that.
I'm like, Janet is the bomb,
Janet
right?
Jackson. Hey, if you want to come on our podcast, you can. Your song is legendary.
Always
in
welcome.
The cheerleading industry. Come on, let's go. Janet Jackson.
So we won't have a lot of other material today. We won't have a lot of updates. Just the same things we're always reaching out to you about is joining your alumni program, wherever that may be.
Please.
If you're not sure who your contact person is, reach out to us and we'll get you connected with the right person.
Absolutely.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about what the alumni program means to all of us. Today, we have a very special guest, and I'm really excited to be here in person with her.
We're so excited.
We've been so looking forward to sitting down with her since we met her in Boston at the National Football Cheer Alumni Reunion.
Yes.
And so it's been a long time coming.
It has been.
And she was one of the sweetest people we met, and like I said, we've been so excited.
Rhonda was saw her and was like, hey, how are you? And we just met and started clicking, and she's amazing.
And she's the cutest thing you've ever seen.
Yes,
so.
And Anita, I was like, Anita, we need to call her. Let's talk to her.
And she's been very gracious. She is hosting us at Carbon Membership Club in Clayton, Missouri, and it is amazing, and they're taking very good care of us. So thank you to everyone here. And what is his name that's helping us out so much? He's so awesome. But anyway,
he's amazing.
Yes, thank you. And anyway, let me just introduce her, and we can go from there. So she is an NFL Super Bowl cheerleader alumni. More on that later. An award-winning author for a children's book called Cheer for Care. The founder and CEO at Team Gateway to a Cure, a foundation for those with loved ones challenged by Parkinson's disease, an executive producer and actor for House of Arms documentary movie, a VIP Fox representative for the Michael J. Fox Foundation and Muhammad Ali Parkinson's Center. She's appeared on dozens of podcasts, TV shows, and radio programs. We are so honored to be here in St. Louis interviewing Miss Jennifer Cobb.
Thank you so much for having me. This is such a joy. I didn't sleep last night.
Oh,
I was so giddy like Christmas. I can't wait to see my girls. I mean, I met you guys in Boston,
Yes.
but I didn't we really didn't connect and
We did
Spend that much time together.
Right.
Yeah.
But there was the energy that I just connected with right away. And I'm like,
Yes.
I have to see these girls again. And I am just so delighted that you came to City and you're here now. And I'm hosting you at this wonderful, amazing Carbon restaurant here in Clayton, Missouri. It just
Yes.
opened about a year ago. Don Sourcing and Kelly Chase, who's an alumni
Okay.
with the Blues, they own it and operate it, and it's member only. And I'm one of the very first few women that joined early on, and membership is probably 80% men.
Yes.
20% females, but the men have wives and significant others that they bring in. So they have ladies' night here. And
Ladies' night.
yeah, and theme night, and they have a Halloween party, they have birthday parties, they have sushi night, they have theme nights, they have restaurant certain nights where the chef will come out and prepare special meals, and it's just great. It's an amazing
beautiful.
atmosphere for family and friends,
Yes.
and you never have to worry about getting a reservation because you come in and then they know you by name and they make you feel like family, and it's awesome. And I'll have to give you a tour later.
Please
Yes.
do. We can't wait.
I mean, they've treated us like royalty since we walked in, and we had red carpet walking up to the facility.
Yeah.
So that's
well,
just
and the nice
amazing.
thing about Carbon is they're going to take the business formula and they're going to open up
Replicate
different
it.
places.
Fantastic.
In Miami and Nashville, Chicago, Dallas, just all over. And it's a wonderful place to come to when you want solitude, but you also want camaraderie and gathering with other people and friendships. And it's a great place to bring your family, but you never have to worry about getting a place, reservation,
Sure.
or
Yes.
it's too busy. It's not too big. So it's kind of it's kind of a harmony with both ends of the spectrum. So
Yeah, that's great.
you have a place to be.
right. Like for instance, Valentine's Day, you
Yes.
have a place to come.
Love it.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to make a reservation, but the
3 months in advance.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the chef is a Michelin 5-star chef.
Yes.
So he came from Italy, and he now
wow.
resides here in St. Louis. Giovanni is his name.
Giovanni.
I know. I just want to say it again. Giovanni. Hold on. I got to say it one more time. Giovanni.
Yes. In the house.
Yes, and
we are going to meet Giovanni, and he's going to bring us a special treat later. I have a feeling.
I hope so.
Right.
But yeah, it's a great place. So if you're ever in St. Louis, Carbon, Carbon, and how they became the name came is if you think of the element of carbon, it's when two elements come together.
Okay.
Right?
Appropriate.
And so
Perfect.
if you look at the wall when they did the interior decorating, designing of the restaurant, you'll see that if you've ever gone down to if you drilled carbon,
Sure.
the
Yes.
the stone or whatever,
Yes.
that whole wall, the walls are made of actual carbon material.
Wow.
So it mimics
it.
what it looks like, and it's very chic and
Exquisite.
very
It is
very
amazing.
classy.
It
The
is.
velvet, crushed velvet drapes and the carpet, and then they have a cigar lounge in the back. It's just, and they, it's
beautiful.
amazing how they've done the interior design here.
And they're ready for Christmas.
Yes.
I
They
mean, they've got
are.
the Christmas decorations out, ladies and gentlemen, and you will be so happy
The
that you came
snowflakes.
here. The snowflakes are here, and the atmosphere is just very cool and quaint.
Yes.
I feel
Yeah.
so comfortable here. It's so nice.
It is. It's fun. The last party they had was Halloween. And
I bet that was fun.
They had like
bet it was
500 people here. It was crazy.
But fun.
Yeah, and I won the contest of the most creative costume.
Why
What is-
am I not surprised by that?
No,
Why?
can I tell you what I was?
What did
Yes.
you come as?
And we're going to have pictures to post along with this.
Absolutely.
So Jen was me and my boyfriend came as a deer in headlights. He was the deer,
And you were the head.
and I was the headlights, and I had my little boobies here.
I love it.
Can I say that name?
Yes, you can say that.
And it was lit up, and I had a black thing on, and it looked like a road with the yellow dot lines down the middle.
We gotta see. We can't wait to see
I was the
pictures.
street with headlights, and he was the deer in headlights.
That's so funny.
So I got.
Y'all won.
And we were most creative.
As you should have.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
really, that's.
Come on now.
Deer and headlights in the house. Yep, yep, yep.
At Carbon. Come on now.
Uh-huh.
Let's go.
Yeah, I thought it was cute.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was
very
fun.
cute.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that?
I don't know. I wanted to do something different than Scooby Doo, you know?
Yes.
Or the normal devils and angels
Yes.
and clowns
All the
and
cliche kind of costumes,
Right. I wanted
yeah.
something different. So
Deer in the headlights, ladies and gentlemen.
Here she is.
Here we are. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Cheers to deers and
Cheers to
headlights.
that. I love it. Jen.
So let's get into a little bit about your history. So
Yeah.
we want to hear about your foundation. We want to hear about everything you've done, but we also want to hear like how you got involved with cheerleading from the beginning. Like
Yes,
what
like-
age did you start?
Yes. So
Yeah.
first, where are you from?
I'm originally born and raised in Chicago, Orland Park.
Okay.
So it's a suburb of Chicago, southwest suburb. And
Okay.
I went to Victor J. Andrew High School and left I graduated high school and went to Carbondale, SIU Carbondale. And I
Okay.
actually cheered football and basketball all 4 years. Now,
wow.
if you know, cheerleading college is a lot different than professional
sure.
cheerleading.
Yes, ma'am.
So we were stunting a lot,
Yes.
basket tosses,
Yes.
Cupid towel, touch, all of the. I had a partner, right?
Yes.
Kind of worked on lots of stunts and cheerleading and cheers or whatever.
Did you fall in love it right away?
I
were you
love-
just, like, did you find your niche like right then?
I love cheerleading. I love leading the crowd, getting them excited about what's
Sure.
going on in the sport. I was a gymnast.
You were a
So,
gymnast too?
I was a gymnast, growing up. And I wasn't really a dancer. I didn't
Okay.
have a lot of dance background, but I had a lot of cheerleading background.
Yes, ma'am.
And so when I graduated from SIU Carbondale with a dietetics degree,
Come on now.
I landed a position at Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital here in town, and
Here in St. Louis.
in St. Louis,
Okay.
in St. Louis, and so that's what kind of drove me to the St. Louis area.
Okay.
Got
And so,
you.
as a nutritionist, dietitian, I worked there for a couple of years, and I was actually leaving work one day, and I heard on the radio that Mrs. Frontieri was hosting open auditions for Rams cheerleaders. She was bringing the team from LA to St. Louis.
And okay, what year was this?
This was 1996.
Come on now,
Okay.
1996. Okay.
1996.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, that sounds like so much fun. So I called a girlfriend. She was talking about it. And she's like, I don't have any dance experience. I'm like, I don't either. I have nothing.
let's do it.
I'm like, you know what?
No.
If we go and we make a friend and have fun doing it, hey, we're winning.
I
I'm going to
love
leave
that.
here. We're
That's
going to win.
a great perspective.
I'm going to make a friend and I'm going to have fun. And you know what? Good for me.
That's the way you do it. I love that.
So I walked in I was a nutcase. I was just a disaster. And I looked in the room and I'm like, okay, there ain't no way. They were beautiful, amazing dancers. And they were like polished, right? The hair, the makeup from head to toe. And I'm like, all right, if I'm going to survive at least the first or second round, I got to make a friend and get out of here.
Yes.
I'm going to stand next to the most talented dancer, and it's her.
Who was it?
It was Megan Toole.
Megan.
Megan O'Toole.
Are
And
you friends with her
I'm
now?
still friends with her to this day.
That's so
And
great.
she listens to this podcast. She will know that I said her name.
Oh.
She knows.
Thank you, Megan.
She knows that she was the reason why I made the team. So I saw her. I didn't know her. And I walked over to her and I'm like, okay, girl, you got it. You are such an amazing dancer. Do you mind if I just shadow you? Like,
You
if
did?
and she's like, yeah, because I didn't know anybody. Like, I walked in, I'm like, okay,
What do I? Yeah.
I'm going to start, like, who's really good here that can help me? Like, I'm surviving here.
Yes.
Right? I'm always a person that I look at a conflict and I've got to be smarter than the situation.
Yes.
So how can I figure out how to solve this conflict?
I love it.
The conflict was Jen's not a great dancer.
Yes.
And the resolution is how can we get her past the second round?
Here we go.
Megan, I'm like, I want you to critique me to the detail. The arms bent, the neck, head, tilt, everything, hip, toe placement. Just keep, because she's experienced, so she can grab on to the 8 count really fast.
Yes.
I can't. So she can actually help coach me and help me at least get to the first, second round. Well, the first round is, okay, we're going to weed out the weirdos from the not weirdos. The ones that just want to be on camera.
Right. Be honest.
I'm being honest.
No, it is. Yes.
So, I mean,
That's
they're
right.
just there just to show up because they want to be on camera. They
Yes.
want to be on the news because
Yes,
the news
ma'am.
are all over the place.
Yeah.
This is the inaugural season now. We don't even have a stadium. We have Busch Stadium, which is where the
baseball team
Yes.
plays. That's where they're going to play the first couple of games while the dome's being made.
Yes.
Yeah, built. And so I ended up making it to the third or fourth round. And then they basically said, we're going to have you come back the next day and we're going to take it a little bit more serious.
Okay.
And that was like the top 100 girls, right? Because there was probably a good 500, 600, 700 girls there.
Yes.
And they're just wanting to see if you can hold a beat.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
How you work under pressure.
We're not even going to ask
Yes.
you questions, what's the capital of Florida? We're not even going to go there. We're just going to see if you can hold a beat.
You can do it. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the first weed out.
I'm like, woohoo! Jen's going
Jen's
on.
got it.
Celebrate. I'm going to get another leotard.
Jen is on it, y'all.
Yeah, so
Listen.
I come back the next day, and of course, the 8 counts get a little more challenging. And now they're seeing if you have space perception, if you can take, criticism, if, they're starting to
Sure.
see how tough your skin is, right?
Yes.
If you can handle this.
Yes.
And to make a long story short, I ended up making it the top, I think it was the top 70 or 60 or 70 girls. And then those girls made it to practice, and you got to go to practice for a month
Yes.
before summer
Oh,
camp. They wanted to see how you intermingled
team, yeah.
with other girls under pressure.
Sure.
If you're going to show
Yes.
up on Tuesdays and Thursdays during your time from 7 to 10, if you're going to be on time, if you're going to stay on time, if you're going
Yes.
to, like all of those things that are daily during, that you have to
Absolutely.
follow
Season.
during season.
Yes.
And so after that month, they do the interview process. They get you in professional clothes. They see how you do in the interview, like
Yes.
with other judges to ask you questions in a
Yes.
boardroom setting.
Sure.
They actually put you out into the community to see how you are under pressure in a community setting when you
Yes.
have the public, looking at you and asking you for autographs and photos and tough questions.
Yes.
What do you think about the
Exactly.
taxes? What do you think about this person as a mayor? What do you, like all of the normal things that you're going to get in season.
Yes.
And you're being watched and you're being, notes are being taken.
Sure,
and
I'm sure they are.
the whole etiquette that comes from
Yes,
being
ma'am.
that brand ambassador.
Yes.
And so after all of that was said, I was chosen as the top 40.
Wow. That's
Because
amazing.
what I need people to understand
Please
is
say it. Yes.
that it goes along. Cheerleading selection process is the exact same as a player selection process. You've got to be more than the fastest 40-yard dasher. You got to
Yes.
be more than just carrying and catching the most footballs
Yes, ma'am.
and making the most touchdowns. There's more to the selection process in a cheerleader and a player, just as much. They both go hand in hand, because at the end of the day, when you're done hanging up your helmet, your football, and your cleats and your pom-poms, you will forever be an ambassador for that brand.
Yes, ma'am.
And
That's
so you have to
exactly
be able
right.
to walk the walk and talk the talk. I was coachable.
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
able to work my pas de bourrées and my toe touches and point the toes and the jazzed walks and all of those little details you can work if you're coachable. Can you take leadership?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And I was able to hire a coach off season and work on those details because I had Keely Fimbres, who's the director of entertainment for the Rams currently. She was my boss. Keely.
Aw.
And she would say, after practice, she'd say, Jen, come here.
Keely was the person that Tony just told
Yes,
us
exactly.
in the last episode that he went to. Tony Wiley was with the PR with St. Louis Rams.
Yeah.
Keely introduced him to his wife now.
Exactly. That's
Okay.
exactly.
Episode 18.
He just talked
check it
about
out.
it.
Yeah, so
He just
Keely-
talked about. So Keely is amazing. Hey, Keely.
Hey, Keely Fimbres, and I just saw her last week at the 25
God.
anniversary of the Super Bowl, greatest show on turf in LA. I flew out there, and I was with the team and Keely, and I was on the field with the girls and got to celebrate with the players. But she was the one that after practice, I would say, "Hey, what do I need to do?" And she's like, "Jen, if you want to be here next week, and I would go home." I mean, she was like,
This is what you got to
I
do.
need you to tell me. I need you to have my blind spot. I want this spot on this team. I want this part on this line, and I don't want to go home. But I need you to tell me what I need to do
To make it.
to stay.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I know somebody else is going to stay and wants my spot.
Yes, ma'am.
But I want it just as much as she does. But I didn't have that growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the privilege of having dance, having the
Exactly.
privates and having
I didn't
dances.
either.
My mom and my dad didn't pay for that for me.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I didn't have that background and those privileges.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
I knew what it took in order for me to have that.
And we're willing to put in the work.
And I was willing to put in the work.
I mean, that's something we've talked about a lot amongst ourselves on our podcast and with other guests we've had is do your homework. And she's the perfect example of what story she's just shared
Yeah.
is I wasn't there. I didn't have the technical skill. What I had is the drive and
Yep.
I had the ability to go out and research what I needed to do. I did my homework, my due diligence to
Yep.
make the team. And that's what we're talking about. Like find the team that has what you like and what you're willing to put in the work for and go after it.
And you will find out those that really have the heart for it and those that don't.
And let
You'll
That's
find it.
so true.
And let
see
me
it.
say this, and I'm so sorry to cut you off,
No.
but you were humble enough to ask at the beginning to see somebody that looked like they knew more than you did and
Oh,
said,
yeah.
I need Megan, I need your help at the beginning.
Yeah.
And you were
Right.
humble enough to go to Keely and say, what do I need to do to make this team? A lot of people are not willing to do that.
You know what
And
they
I
do?
think you've got to humble yourself to say,
Yeah.
I may be good in this, and that other.
Right.
But I need help in these other areas. How can you help me?
Well, when you watch the show, Make the Squad, the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders, oftentimes you'll see the girls crying.
Yes.
And they walk away and they cry.
Yes.
But before the crying, what they should have done, I'm not preaching, I'm not judging,
ma'am.
but
Say it.
before the cries, because I've cried.
Yes,
I
we
have
all have.
cried.
For sure.
We all have.
And before those tears come out, you say to yourself, how do I prevent the cry? What do I need to do to prevent? That's what humbles you. That's what humbles
So
you.
great.
I gotta sit with that.
But before the cry, you say to yourself, what do I need to do? So you go behind the scenes to the ones that know,
Yes.
which are your coaches and your judges and say, your peers.
Yes.
What do you see? I don't see it. I
Yes.
don't know it. And I need you to have my back.
Yes.
That's what creates future friendships. That's what
Yes.
creates loyalty and honesty.
But I also think, even if you do have that skill set and the talent and you walk in there knowing you have the skill set and talent, you should still be humble enough to reach out like you did.
Yeah.
Like, what else can I do? Maybe maybe I'm
Always.
very technical, but I may not have the interview skills or I may
Correct.
not have the philanthropic skills that I need. What do I need? And I think that's a little missing link, really, these
is.
days. It's like, what can I offer you to your team? Not, like what can I do to make this team and this brand amazing? How can I offer anything to
How
you?
can I be better?
So when
Right.
you often,
Serve
when you
you.
see the Dallas Cowboy show and you see the girls and they're getting ready to get cut, they'll start to cry. They know, but do you go back and rewatch it and see how many of them actually asked,
Right.
what do I need to work on for next year? What do I need to
vital.
before they come to that table? They should have already known. And I had no idea I was going to make it, but I didn't make it based on my dance ability. Absolutely not. That's not what got me on that squad.
Right.
What got me on the squad is I was coachable and I was a leader. I was willing to take that criticism and work at it hard. And I will
seek the
and they seek that. I don't have all the credentials. I don't pretend to be the smartest person in the room.
Absolutely.
I don't claim ever to be. And I want to be the stupidest one in the room so that I can grow and learn from other people. And that's really important. I think that's the key to success. That's why I was able to stay on the squad for the years that I did. And then I got to a point where I felt like I wanted other things in my life. I started to outgrow.
Right.
And God was pulling my heart some other way. And I didn't ask as much for the criticism. I didn't ask as much for the feedback. And I felt my heart, what are you doing, Jen? You need to open this spot up for another girl. And there was another girl that wanted my spot. So halfway in the middle of that season that we won the Super Bowl, I ended up stepping back. And we did win the Super Bowl.
We know.
I am. We did win the Super Bowl, and I still feel part of that team. Absolutely.
Right, of course.
But my heart was pulling me in a different direction, and the girl that took my spot was the alternate, and she was, of course, excited.
Elated.
And she has her own story, of course. You know, which is great. Yeah. So, but that's what led me to being on the squad, and one really, really good story that started that year that I won, which was actually the second year, the 1997 year. We were the worst team in the NFL.
Ciao.
And I went to Maui, Hawaii, and won the biggest fitness contest in the country, Miss Super Fitness. And I was the fittest woman in America and won the title and came back and cheering for the worst team in the NFL. The media went crazy.
Of course
they had the fittest woman in America cheering for the worst team in the NFL, and the coaches are like, all right, guys, does Jennifer need to come over here and start coaching you guys? I mean, really?
Together.
The next year they won the Super Bowl. All I'm saying is
what did you do?
I could have had a little bit of rub off. The little rub off. If that little 5'2" girl could win the fittest woman in America out in Maui, Hawaii, we can win the biggest title.
We're not saying she won the Super Bowl, but we're saying right after that they won the Super Bowl. So take from it what you will.
That maybe my rub off, my influence.
We give ourselves credit too.
Bit.
A lot. We're lucky charms. We never lost a game at home when we cheered. So we get it. Like sometimes we're the lucky charms.
And the media went kind of a little overboard. I mean, it was great. It was a great title.
Well, let me just cheers to that.
The fittest woman in America.
Fittest woman in America. I mean, yeah.
And we were the worst team in the NFL.
Well,
we were so bad.
You know what?
Does make for a good story.
It does make for a great story.
The guys were a little intimidated. So they went back to
She's like, let me show you how I can help you.
Yeah. And
humility.
And the story continues on. So part of this Miss Super Fitness competition out in Maui, Hawaii was there was different categories. There was swimwear, and then there was a choreographed routine on stage.
Okay.
And then there was an athletic round on the beach, and then there was a swim in the ocean.
Oh, wow.
Well, Jennifer didn't know how to swim.
You're kidding.
So I hired a swim coach, and we worked diligently on days I didn't practice with the Rams. Those were on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I would swim in the pool with a swim coach, and I'd learn swimming techniques and breathing techniques because this is the ocean, girls.
Yeah, the ocean is very
it's completely different
from a pond or
but I'm gonna say,
a river somewhere. Come on now, a swim pool.
I got invited to do this competition because it was an invitational.
Yes.
I'm not going to say no. I'm going to at least go and show. I'm going to give it my best. But there was one thing I wasn't good at, and that was swimming. But I was okay with the choreographed fitness routine because my dance choreographer, who's my coach, my dance coach, my private coach, she did all my choreography. And then my swimwear. Now, swimwear was 50% of your score, and then 25% was your fitness routine, and then the other fitness 25% was the swim, the run on the beach, the obstacle course. So it was all of the athletic round. So it was 25, 25, and 50.
Okay.
Well, I got first place in the swimwear, so that was already a first place.
Yes, honey.
The fitness routine, I got second.
Come on now.
Okay, so still high up there.
And I got like 18th, 19th, almost last
in
the athletic round because I got last in the swim.
Okay.
And then the obstacle course was like 7th or 8th.
Okay.
So when you add the totals, you had to have the less amount of points. And so when you add it all up, I ended up winning Miss Super Fitness.
Come on now.
That's another cheers.
That's another cheers.
Yes, it's a cheers.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this, and I'm just gonna, I know why. It's like, you know what? God brings us together. Energy. I told Anita before, I said, I was at the Boston alumni thing, and it was something about you. I don't know. I just came up to you, and it's like, hey.
Hi.
We started talking, but it's like, y'all have this one is the same. She's like,
I know, I can see it.
Fit everything.
She's
I mean,
a little
she's won
spitfire.
her own competitions, and it's like, oh my God, it's like
I did not
y'all
know
have the
this.
same energy. She's a personal trainer. Amazing people that take charge of their lives and just as humble and will say, what do I need to do to be better? How am I supposed to elevate myself to be a better person? And I am nowhere near you guys, but I'm saying that.
Well,
I feel
you have
like
your own
God,
story.
I feel like God just.
But I think that's
Jesus,
as
y'all
long
are
as you're
right.
living, you should still be trying to figure out how you can be better.
To be better.
And I think
In every aspect of your life. And when you stop doing that is when you start to deteriorate overall. I mean, mentally, physically.
Just continuing to just be better.
Yeah, and I think it's important that you look at your life. I love life. I really do. The challenges, the ups and downs. But I always look at it through the lens of how this situation, because I look at the conflict and how to resolve it. I've got to be smarter than the situation. And if that's speaking what you guys, how you live.
Yes.
So I always look at, okay, I don't want to win a battle. I want the little wins and little losses.
To keep
moving. But it's the conflict. So data drives behavior, right? So if I have all of this conflict and I have all this data, what am I going to do? How am I going to use this data to drive my behavior moving forward? And that's how I look at everything through that lens. With my children, resolving conflict.
Yes.
At the workplace, resolving conflict. With Jen not knowing how to swim. Jen's not a great dancer.
Yes.
If I don't know the answer to something, I will look at my resources, which is really great since I've retired with the NFL. And, most people think, you don't get paid much. You don't do it for the money. You do it
Speak on it.
The ambassadorship, the friendships. Yes. I have an amazing network of people that's worth, you can't even put a dollar amount.
You can't put a price on it.
No, I mean, I have spent more time with Isaac Bruce and charity foundations and events than most people have ever met him in his life,
Absolutely.
Right? And I have, met some of the greatest friendships and people that are, looked upon as these idols and people that would love to meet, but they're friends,
Right.
They're family. They call them, we call ourselves Ramilies, we're Ramily, we're family.
I love that.
And we're super connected. But I wouldn't have that if it wasn't for the NFL and the people that I've met along the way.
Yes.
So, that's one thing that I have done in my life is I have looked to the network of my friendships and the people that I've met along the way to help create a better version of me each day, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest questions we get asked, and it's the hardest for us to get someone to understand is they're like, well, you don't even make anything. Like, you didn't make that much money, but they don't understand the value of everything else that goes into it. It's like a big sorority also, but like the way where we become so philanthropic, and most of us, that carries over into the rest of our lives.
Absolutely.
So you may lead a foundation as you have, you may be involved. I'm, on the board of a foundation as well. And you just like, that becomes such an important part of your life. You have the discipline through what it took to be a cheerleader, be on the field. People don't realize the work that goes into it. And so the value is not the paycheck we took home. I mean, again, get real. We didn't sell the tickets to the game. It's nice. We're a nice added bonus for very many reasons, but the value is not our paycheck. The value is so much further beyond that. And that's what, it's hard for us to portray that and
to
help
tell
other
you
people.
what that means.
Yes. And show you the weight of that.
Yeah. It changes your life as a person. It changes your life. And it's like, and again, I'm nowhere near where you all are, but it's like, it changed my life from being, I could have been here, and I went here because of cheerleading. And
if it's not, I think the common denominator is people have to understand it. For us, it's cheerleading. For others, it might be something else.
Right.
So it might not be cheerleading. Maybe it's a sorority, or maybe it's a group of girlfriends, or maybe it's a work, or maybe it's your children, maybe it's something in your family. Like, there's a certain niche each one of us have in your own story of life. And what are you going to do when you come off of your sideline of life?
I love that.
And how are you going to use that to a better version of you growing and moving forward?
Absolutely.
We all have a sideline, right?
We do.
We all do.
Have a sideline.
Mama line, daddy line, job line, whatever that is, you've got one.
Yes.
What are you going to do with it when you get out of it?
Yeah, I have a good friend of mine. She's actually my financial advisor, and she always says she doesn't believe in retirement. You can transition into another position, but there's no such thing as retirement, because if you're a doer and you want to continue living, you've got to, like you said, step into the sideline and find out what else you have. It's not retiring. You're not retiring to sit home and do nothing.
Well,
so
she might be retiring in what she's currently involved in to go into something else.
Yes.
Going off to the side.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a great way. It's a great analogy. Great way to look at it.
Sure, but it's so inspiring because I
so
feel like we want to be inspired to do. You're always giving back in your life, and I feel like you're giving back in one area or another.
Sure.
So we're at this age, and you're going, what else am I going to give? Where else am I going to go? I'm going to hang my Poms up, and I'm going to go do this. And I'm going to be a grandparent, or I'm going to be a mentor to somebody. But it's always a growing thing. And if you look at it like that, you've got more to live for. It's an ongoing thing.
Right, yep.
I love that. And let me just say this. I want to put everything she said. I mean, there were so many gems in everything you just said. From the tryouts to everything. I want to put all of that on repeat.
Yes.
It is
really?
It's so valuable because it's like, I think that's what people need to know. And I think that when you talk about the next generation, that's what they need to hear in order to be great at something and to be able to give back to something. Yeah. That's what you need to do. Anyway, I am very excited about that. It's like I'm gonna put that on repeat like all the time. Like, if you're trying to have a cheerleader, listen to this or anything. It's like that's what the energy you need to bring to it, the humility that you need to bring to something to be great at something.
Yeah, and it's nice with our podcast, like the different level of guests that we've had. Like last week we had Tony Wiley on, and he talked about the impact and how he saw when his daughter was so inspired by the cheerleaders and she decided to try out, and her confidence jumped to a level that he didn't expect. And so he's always been a huge supporter of cheerleaders anyway, but it really gave him a different perspective. And then so we see all the way up from what you're saying today of what it means in the back burner, like how it comes full circle.
Yes.
And it's just, it's so empowering, and I love it.
It's like a full circle moment. If you look at it from we're going to have more people on, but from the way you gave it, it is a full circle.
It really is.
To kind of look at it from that broad view.
Yep.
Again, rewind on all different levels.
Rewind the sideline.
Rewind it all. Okay, so we want to hear about your foundation.
Yeah.
And how you got there in doing that.
So, let's see. So after the Rams, I got married and had children.
Yes.
And then right around 1999, which is the year the Rams won the Super Bowl.
Yes.
We found out my dad was diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Okay. Did you know what it was when you heard it?
No, not really. No, but it was actually right around the same time Michael J. Fox went public with his disease. Okay. And now you're probably rewinding it in your head and thinking, did Michael go public with it then? He did. That's when he first noticed the trembles and, the shakes.
Okay.
So I was so busy with my marriage and my children, having babies and stuff. I didn't really pay too much attention until my dad started really degressing, really getting the Parkinson's was putting him in a wheelchair. So I knew there had to be a way that I used my platform coming off the field to make a difference. And then I started Soul to Soul, SOULTOSOLE. Because Parkinson's affects your gait, your step.
Right.
Okay.
And that my dad has such a sweet soul.
Yes.
So I had a 5K Soul to Soul. That's when I started Team Gateway to a Cure. The Fox Foundation actually gave me the name to start a 501c3 here in St. Louis, Team Gateway to a Cure. And originally, I started it to raise awareness for Parkinson's, to raise money for research. Now, until there's a cure, which we still need research for, there's a caregiver behind the scenes, someone that's caring for their loved one. And so you don't hear of 5Ks for caregivers. You don't hear of fancy dinner auctions for caregivers, but you always see them sitting right there.
Yes.
They show up at the 5Ks.
Yes.
They show up at the dinners.
Yes.
And they go kiss their foreheads, tuck them into bed, and rinse and repeat and do it again every day. And there's never any recognition for the caregiver. So now insurance companies are recognizing the caregiver as the second patient.
Wow.
They go through financial hardship and emotional distress and a lot of, depression and anxiety.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, who's caring for them? And so we kind of, as the board and I discussed, instead of raising the money that we raise for research, we needed to raise awareness for caregivers. And so our foundation now focuses our efforts on caregiver support.
I love that.
And we educate them because as a caregiver, an adult child caring for my father and watching my mom care for my dad.
Yes.
I saw that there was a lot that went into that. And since COVID, you and I can kind of understand what it's like being at home all the time. And not that, nursing facilities and homes aren't supported and warranted for those right purposes for those that need them.
Correct.
But if you had a choice, would you stay home where you had the laughter of the family at home and the pictures on the wall and the smells of food and, the home cooked food, the familiar environment and the laughter of the family that they can come and go with no restrictions? Would you stay home versus putting your loved one in a home? And 100% of the answer is yes,
Absolutely,
you would. You would stay home. But oftentimes they don't do that because the caregiver is burdened.
Right.
And so it's really, really important for people to understand that hospice is a word that we often attach to death.
Yes.
And hospice is actually a word that is, if you look it up, it's what is in the best support for a caregiver at home. It's not for the patient. Hospice is meant to help the caregiver in the home.
Yes.
Hospice is not meant to help the person going through the disease.
Got it.
People don't know that. They think hospice is because the person's dying.
The person's dying and the person needs assistance.
No.
But it's for the people.
It's for the caregiver. And so what you need to do is, if you are in that spot, that's what's so good about your podcast, is because through your masses and your platform, you can educate. That if you are in that spot where you have, my dad was on hospice for 4 years. There's different levels of hospice. You can graduate and go back on, and it's so valued.
Yes.
I mean, through hospice, he had a doctor come and visit him once a week. He had a podiatrist come and do his nails on his toes every 2 weeks. He had a barber come and do his hair. He had a massage therapist every week. He had art therapy every 2 weeks. He had animal therapy. Like, I want to be on hospice.
Yes.
I don't know about you.
I mean, really.
But honestly.
Yes.
Doesn't it sound great?
It does.
That's what it's supposed to be. It's not for the dying.
Right.
It's a
We're
service.
supposed to be doing
Quality
that
of life.
Yes.
It's the service for the caregiver.
Yes.
And so what Team Gateway to a Cure is what we do is we educate, allow people to bring that to your home. Like, what is it? Like, there are resources in your hometown to bring hospice programs to you. Now, oftentimes you're probably thinking, well, gee, Jen, why doesn't the doctor tell me about it? Good question.
Right.
Doctors don't talk about it because they don't get a kickback.
Got it.
Right.
They used to get a kickback, and then they were pocketing, and that was bad for all doctors now.
Correct.
It's kind of like you're with the crowd, you go to a store and you steal a candy bar. Well, everybody is going to get in trouble because you're all together, and even though one's in the group stealing the candy bar,
Right.
I'm not saying that doctors are all thieves.
That's not
I'm
what
just
we're
saying.
saying.
What I'm saying is
A
that
few
there
bad
were
seeds.
some bad ones that took advantage of the hospice
system.
program,
Yes.
the system, and now we all have to.
Right.
It's yeah. So there's no kickback. But what you can do now is you can use the hospice program and value yourself enough
Yes.
to bring them in and qualify. How do you qualify? You call up a hospice program in your town and you say, I'd like to interview you to come to the home, and I want to interview. There could be 3 or 4 or 5 different hospice programs in your
That
town.
you have.
You
Got
bring
it.
them into your town and find somebody that this one has this and I really like, but they don't have this. Okay. This one has this, but I don't like too much, but they have that. Okay. It's like the 3 Little Bear story.
Right.
But this one has a little of this and a little of that.
Right.
So now we're going to have them come in, and
That
maybe they
works
work.
with your family. And
Exactly.
What your dynamic is.
It's like an ingredient to banana bread.
I love it.
I mean, you have yours, I have mine,
I
and you
got
have yours.
mine. You got yours.
My
The
kids
one that
say,
works
Mom,
best
your
for you."
peanut butter and jelly is the best. I know. I know.
But I like a little. I like crunchy peanut butter.
Mine is the best. I will win the best PB&J of the year.
Yes.
Recipe. I'm going to go to my deathbed when I die and I leave this earth. My kids will always say, Mom, your peanut butter and jelly was the best. Because it is.
Because it is.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
My kids will always say that mine is the
It's the
best.
best.
And yours is the best. And yours is the best.
I love it.
And it's what you have to find is what's best for you.
Right.
That's
That's
I love
that's
that.
the moral of the story.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So I started
I
that
need a minute, honey.
Team Gateway to a Cure. It's
Say it.
teamgatewaytoacure.org. That's how it was started 6-7 years ago.
Yeah,
And
I wish I could remember.
yeah.
There was a statistic I read about when you're a caregiver and you don't have that help from hospice, there is like a number of years for you to fully recover the physical and mental effects that you suffered from caregiving
Yeah.
for every year that you did it. And it's like,
Yeah,
when
and
you
it's
realize
so
that,
sad.
like, it's so much on the caregiver. People don't understand that if you've never been in that situation, but it's just
Right. And I oftentimes, when I get asked at caregiver conferences that I speak at, a big question is, Jen, how do I meet the person where they're at
Yes.
when I'm starting my family? I'm taking care of my kids. I'm growing a business. And now I'm supposed to stop my life and take care of him when he never showed up to any of my Pee-wee football games, or my mom was never there for any of my dance recitals. And now she wants me to stop my life when I'm caring for my kids and building a family and starting a career. Now I got to stop my life and where were they when I was going through my life?
Right.
Now I got, how do you meet the person where they're at?
Right.
When they're going through.
Yes, that's important.
It's super important. And so my answer to that is, thank goodness you're not that person.
Woo!
And that you can show your children the kind of mom or the kind of father that you want to be. And maybe it's, thank goodness we have Uber Eats. Thank goodness we have technology.
Yes.
Maybe it's, you don't feel close to mom and dad. Maybe you just send them a meal.
Yes.
And maybe you live far away and you can't be there to cook.
Yep.
Maybe you send them a cleaning lady or service.
Right. Yes.
Maybe you're not the one on the iPad, but the grandkids are. And they call and talk video conference. Like maybe they send colors, pictures for grandma and grand. Like there's so many great creative ways
to make
that
it
you
work.
can make it and help without maybe have your boundaries. Like that's why I go back to conflict resolution.
Yes.
There's a conflict and you got to resolve it and be smarter than the situation.
Bingo.
Oh my God.
I mean, doesn't get more powerful than that.
It's so powerful. And it's like, and then you yourself may be in that position one day.
You sure absolutely
and
can
I think
be.
until you are, like, you don't understand, like, you don't know the questions to ask. You don't know the things you might need. You don't know how it's going to affect every aspect of your life.
And you know why? That is, it's that way because there's so much emotional history.
Yes.
So much.
And that gets foggy.
It does.
And so you can't.
Exactly.
And so what you need to do is take yourself away from the emotion and let the data drive behavior. And that's really, really important. That's why you never make decisions based on emotion. Because emotions are fickle, they kind of come and go. And after you kind of soften up and you're like, oh, I'm so mad I said that, or why did I do that? A couple days later, I feel bad. Okay, I'm gonna do the call. Okay, I'm sorry. Can we talk? It's because you have to be big girl. Like, I can't talk right now. I'm really emotional. I need a couple days. Like, have that big conversation and speak your heart. And it's okay. Right. It's okay. And caregiver support too. Like, you're caring for someone and you're in that spot. You should not deny your loved ones or friends to be able to make a meal.
Right.
Like, they come from the June Cleaver, the June Cleaver mentality.
Yes.
Like, they got to have this badge of honor and they got to do it all. And
I've
got to make sure everybody's like, it's almost kind of a little arrogant that you think that you're all that you deny others to come in and make a meal or to sit and play checkers or watch a movie or like go out with your girlfriends and let someone come in and take over and change the bed sheets, do the laundry. Like, it's okay to self-care.
It's not selfish. It's self-care.
It's actually very, it's very, what's the word?
I mean, it's imperative for your well-being.
For your well-being, for everybody involved.
And it's so important because it's important that you self-care, and it's important that your loved ones see how special you are. Yes. That if you're not at your best, you can't give your best.
Well, it's like saying, like, you're trying to save someone who's drowning and you start drowning yourself. It's like, if you're not doing the self-care, you're going to drown. You can't save the person who's out here drowning.
But you also often notice too that there's a lot of control issues that come with that.
Yeah.
And they don't want any help and they're going to do it. But you didn't marry your patient. You married your husband or your wife. You're there for him to be your husband, to be your wife, to love, not to be his maid and servant. Now, don't take that out of context.
No,
I'm not saying that you can't kiss him on the forehead and sit and, cuddle and watch shows and make him a meal. I'm just saying, when it starts to become habitual and you start to lose touch on who you are as a person and you're neglecting the service of others to come into the home and serve as well, that's becoming a conflict.
Sure.
Yes.
We know what a conflict is.
We do.
I mean, we are smart. We know when that's that fine line.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We often have seen it.
Yes.
Well, and those are going to be the end years of someone's life that you're close to, and you want those to be as valuable and the quality to be as high as you can make it.
Absolutely.
And if you're feeling like you're a hired help instead of a partner or a child or whatever your relationship is with that person, then it's definitely changing the dynamic in the final years, and that's not okay either.
No, it's not. And again, you start to get pinholed into a role of, I'm the caregiver, I'm the nurse, I'm supposed to. You are, but you also need to take care of yourself.
Right.
Absolutely.
And because you're doing all of that, is it really going to change? For instance, my dad, is it really going to put him back 10, 15, 20 years pre-Parkinson's?
Right.
No.
You're not.
Parkinson's is never going to reverse itself.
Right.
It's not like because you control his diet. Not that diet
Please
isn't
note
important.
what she's saying right now. Go ahead.
Diet is important. I get it.
Right.
But because you do all of this, and because you check off boxes, and because you're there and controlling, that's going to bring him back to pre-Parkinson's. It's not. So how do you meet the person where they're at and allow them to just love? Like my dad, he just wants to be a dude. He wants to watch Westerns. He wants to eat popcorn. He wants to beat me at checkers and boss me around the kitchen telling me how to cut the green beans.
Yes.
Like, that's what he wants to do.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yes, of course.
I want him to.
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying he can't eat popcorn every day because the inflammation, of course, in his gut. I get that. But it's okay to let him just be a man.
Have those moments.
Have those dignity moments. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. Oh,
So many powerful messages
I'm
today.
just like on edge.
it's
Like I don't
great.
even want to stop.
Really?
I know we could talk.
Talk about this. I mean, God, Jen, it's powerful.
Well, and
for you to have lived it and you're doing it and giving back in such a great way, these tools and what you're saying, they are so powerful to someone.
Thank you.
That's going through it.
That's right. And my hope and prayer is that through my words and my voice, that others will hear my message and be able to say, I connect with what Jennifer's saying because I'm going through it in my life, or I know somebody that's going through it in their life, and I'm not alone. And it's really important that we are a village together.
Yes.
Because that's what it does. It does take a village.
It does.
And if you think otherwise, then that's a little prideful, and you need to circumcise that a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was an appropriate word.
That's okay.
But
it worked and it made sense.
Come on now.
I mean, I think you can kind of take like your relationship and everything that you, the sorority type feeling you had in the NFL, and then what you're doing with Team Gateway for a Cure, like all that is just like you're still building the surrounding of the patient. So it just feels like your message is the same of every level of your life and what you're doing and what you're giving back. And it's just really.
Yeah. And, for me, I really want my children to see me outside the home.
Love it.
Outside of being mom.
Yes.
To serving in a different purpose and
how powerful
different
is that
level.
for your kids to see?
Yeah. I mean, they see me making peanut butter and jellies. The best.
The best.
And they see me doing laundry, and they see me doing driving them and
taking them everywhere they need to be.
Yeah. And that's all. Those are great, wonderful, prayer and service.
Yes.
And that's how I look at it. But I also want them to see mom outside the home serving differently and serving others. And that's what Team Gateway to a Cure allows me to do. And in the process, I felt like I wanted to step outside the box. And, I always think starting is better than not starting anything,
Absolutely.
and, starting something that's not the best, not perfect, but finishing it is even better. So
100%.
Come on now.
decided to write a children's book.
Yeah.
And I'm terrible
What's the name
at
of the book?
It's called Chair for Care.
Chair for Care, ladies and gentlemen.
And it's about a little girl named Christina. She's in middle school. And she's a cheerleader.
Woo!
And she came home and she noticed that dad's acting really kind of strange lately. He's not himself. So she asked her mom about what's going on with dad. He's not talking real loud anymore. And when he reaches for the remote control, his arm shakes. And when he talks, his head kind of bobbles back and forth. And her mom sat her down and said, well, your dad has what's called Parkinson's. And let's Google it together.
Wow.
So I added a lot of the generational ways of technology into the story. So Christina and her mom sat down and Googled what Parkinson's is. And so Christina, through the eyes and the vision and creativity of a child's eyes and mind, she comes up with some wonderful ways on how to bring a smile to her dad's face.
Love it.
And what the what I wanted the story to get across to people is being a caregiver doesn't have to cost money. And you can do this most simplest things to bring a smile to someone's face. If you often think of a grandparent when they see their grandchildren, how their eyes just light up. It's the same thing with our children as parents. You know, when your kids walk in the room, you know, they see you looking at them and they're hurting because they have Parkinson's or whatever, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
They still want that joy.
Right.
And so what Christina comes up with is some really creative ways to bring joy, hope, and comfort to her dad.
I love that.
It's so powerful.
So I have an artist that did all my renderings of my book. And I'm looking for an angel investor to put the logo on the back of the book so I can have the book in, you know, neurological centers and libraries and stuff like that. And then I'm actually not sure if I'm going to publish it, self-publish, or I'm going to get a publishing company to do it. I'm still thinking about that. But the guy who ghostwrited it with me, he was amazing. He was so incredible. He's won many, many awards. He's written a children's book on fireflies and how a firefly brings joy to someone who's going through stuff, which is really cute. So
Very cute.
yeah. So I have some of the renderings on my Instagram, so you can go
We
look
will
at.
all share
Okay,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll share that.
So it's going to be published here very soon, and I'm just so excited.
I'm excited for you. That's
Yeah.
really amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you.
So yeah, cheer for care.
Cheers for care.
Cheers! Can I get a cheers?
Cheers for
Cheer
care.
for care.
Cheers for care. We love that. Jen, I have so many things that I want to say that I don't even know that I can get out right now, but I'm so inspired and so overjoyed.
I mean, we were so excited to come here. It's worth the trip before we even interviewed you.
Yes.
And now, like,
Aw,
I can't imagine doing this remote. And I'm so glad to be here in
Yeah.
person with you. Like,
Thank
just
you.
all the stories and, like I said, the analogies and the powerful messages. Like, we're thrilled to be here in person with you. And we thank you.
You guys are so sweet.
And it was meant to be because listen, we're
was.
in Boston and I'm just running around just like, hey. And I met her and I thought, wow, I like her. I was something about her.
Well,
I just wanted to talk to her.
I am so happy that you guys came up and, you know, we're hanging out. And this is Providence. Like, this is going to open the dialogue between people that are going to hear this.
For sure.
And at least it'll, you know, affect one person that's going to do so much joy.
Even if it's just one.
It's
Just
worth it.
one, yes.
Even if it's just one, and I hope it's more, that we can have somebody that's inspired and that has get some hope from it and can keep going.
Yes. And, you know, I think the younger generation, our children, they're very philanthropic and they want to help. They just,
They don't know
how. And, it's really important that they hear these words and have great ideas through this podcast and, our talks, that they can, you know, take what they hear and apply it to their own lives.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we always have favorite sideline rewind. You've given a gem, but do you have we want to pass on to the next generation. You've given a lot of things. But as far as cheerleading and your platform, is there anything else that you want to say about your favorite
Moment, memory, rewind. Of when you cheered.
as a cheerleader, or whatever you want to say? Do you want to give a favorite thing?
Well, I would say, you know, like my memory, when I won Miss Super Fitness, that was fun because the media said, you know, we're the worst team in the NFL.
Yes.
That was funny. I often get asked, like, this is so silly.
Go.
I have, Jen, where do the players go potty?
That's so funny.
I'm like, Coach, can I have a pee break? Like, can I go potty, Coach? I'm like, really? Are you serious?
That's what they want.
They want to know. Fans want to know that. I'm like, well, they go on the field.
It's so funny what people will think of. It's like, where did you come up with that question? But they come up with the craziest things sometimes.
I know. I'm like, well, they go right there on the field. A lot of times they'll have a tent, and they'll have a little container.
There's a porta potty on some places.
It depends on where you are.
Where you're playing.
Where do they go?
There's a place to go, ladies and gentlemen.
And then I would have to say, one thing that I miss the most, is locker room. I miss locker room time.
Yeah.
And I've asked the players that too, if there's anything that they would miss, and they would say that the goofiness and the silliness, the camaraderie in the locker room.
Especially after the game. It's like when there's no stress, you're done, the work is done, and now you can just relax and like enjoy your friends and like let loose, you know?
Yeah. You take a shower real quick and wash all that makeup off and your hair, and you're just like goofy, and you'd play practical jokes.
Right.
Hide someone's pom-pom or a boot. Hide in the locker and boo them.
Just laugh at what happened at the game.
Right.
What happened. Yeah.
Yeah. It's those are the moments I miss. But we often get the joy through the Alumni Association.
Yes.
The reunions.
Yes.
And getting together with girls.
Jen, are you going to go to Miami 2026?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well,
we hope you're there.
I haven't made a decision yet.
We want to see you.
The ticket sales aren't out yet, but as soon as they are, we hope that
we want to talk to you. We want to see you there.
You do.
It'll be a reunion for real.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we hope you can make it, and we're definitely going.
Yeah.
And
we're going.
Okay.
So we can.
Yeah, I have to see my calendar and my schedule.
I'm sure I know your schedule's busy with everything, but
if we can't see you in 2026, we've got to get together before then.
Oh, absolutely.
You got to come to Nashville.
Yeah, we just realized it's really not that far.
No, it's not.
It's an easy flight. And it's nonstop.
And I could come to Nashville, and we can do episode 2.
Yay!
We'd love it.
A Jen episode 2.
We would love it. We need to.
Because I feel like there's still so much we didn't cover. And we could go over hours.
No.
I know. I could talk about this stuff for hours.
Jen. We're gonna name it something.
Yeah, we'll get t-shirts made.
You know,
she's got a lot of t-shirt
Jam.
material.
Jen's Jam, Jen's Jewels,
Jen's Jam.
Inspirational Moments.
And
we love that she set up with some Rams memorabilia, the Poms, and we love that.
We are set up. 99.
Back in our day.
Okay, and
Mike Jones.
Let me just. Did we talk about this already?
No, we talked about off camera.
Okay, so here we go. So
2020.
Yeah,
99.
1999
well,
to 2000.
Yeah, 2000 was
January 2000, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, that was
Super Bowl 34. Yeah,
Super Bowl 34. Mike Jones tackled Kevin Dyson for 1 yard short.
Mike Jones, I need a word with you.
We need a word.
Mm-hmm. I have an issue.
I always say, did we really? I mean, y'all won, but that was the most historical 1 yard short that I can think of in the history of NFL football, because it was an iconic moment, and the way it happened. You know what? I'm gonna put it on. We're gonna put it on Sideline Rewind. The way the him reaching out for the 1 yard and the tackle. Yeah. That was monumental. That was huge.
It definitely was.
And I always say, and no offense to the Rams fans, I was like, did we really lose? Because the moment is so iconic. I think the St. Louis Rams can say we won, but I think the Titans can say we were 1 yard short.
Yeah.
And the effort we put in, it's powerful.
At 1 yard, oh my goodness!
Come on now,
it's right there in front of my quarter too.
It's powerful.
But you know what?
Come on now,
it happened the way it was supposed to.
It did. It did. Come on now.
It's great memories.
I know.
Jen,
I know.
You're the best.
Well,
from the east and the west.
I'm the good witch.
The north and the south. Around the equator and the prime meridian. I say that to the people I really, really care about.
That's what she says.
Oh, you're sweet.
You're the best.
So I'm number 19.
Number 19.
show. Is it number 19?
Yeah, 19. Episode number 19.
Let me just say this. I didn't say that to everybody.
No,
Oh.
she didn't say that to everybody.
I didn't. You're probably number. I'm thinking number 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
Yeah. So you're awesome.
What can I do to get to know?
How can I be
Come to
number 1?
Nashville and we sit down and do Jen 2.
What can I do to get
You're
to number 1?
Jen, the sequel.
Come on now.
Yeah, okay, I'm there, girl.
I love it.
I'm
love it.
totally there.
Well, again, thank you so much for hosting us at this amazing place. And
Carbon.
Has been
we love it.
amazing.
And yeah, we're so excited. Giovanni?
Giovanni,
I don't know if he's there.
Okay,
I could
well,
go check
hopefully-
and
See him, but and this is in Clayton, Missouri.
Clayton,
see.
Missouri.
Yes.
Carbon.
And, yeah, so thank you so much for all this. And
You guys are awesome. Thank you for
honored
coming
to
in.
have her and wrap up another episode of Sideline Rewind number 19.
Number 19.
19.
Thank you again for all the follows and support. And Pom Pony, we got to get her a
Pom Pony. We got to get her a Los Angeles Rams and a St. Louis Rams.
That's right. Same
Pom
colors.
Pony in the blue and the gold. But
That's
then
right.
You can get them. I don't think people realize you can get them customized. If you're a cheerleader squad or a dance team, you can get a Pom Pony. You can get your team colors with your actual name, Anita or Jen or Rhonda, or the Rams, the Titans, or
right.
whoever you are, and your team colors, and put your Pom Pony on it.
Connects to your bag and off you go. So
Off you
if
go.
you're going to get one, use the code Holiday Rewind, all caps, through the end of December, and you'll get $3 off.
Ooh, I
Let's
love
go,
Pom Ponies.
Holiday
I know, aren't they great?
Rewind.
So anyway, thank you, Pom Pony, and thank you to all our listeners, followers, and supporters. And we'll see you in episode 20.
Episode 20, and continue to download the podcast. Thank you so much to our followers, supporters, sponsors, rewinds. Send those in to us. This has been Together Again,
Yes.
St. Louis edition. We're out.
Peace out.
Mistletoe.